Good morning, children. Welcome to the class. Today we are going to start with the poem number 6 of your first flight. The name of the poem is Amanda, written by Robin Klein. In this poem, Robin Klein has expressed the view of a little girl, Amanda, who is constantly pointed out by her mother for making mistakes which she considers as they are not part of the code of good conduct laid out by the society in which they live. See here, this is the poetess of this poem. Robin Klein, is a well-known Australian author of books for children. She was born in 28 February 1936 in Campsie, New South Wales, and now resides near Melbourne. The theme of the poem is that through the poem, poetess describes how difficult it is for children to compromise their freedom and behave accordingly to the societal norms, as this not only restrain but also responsible for making a child lose his or her individuality, as controlling all of them would simply take away their uniqueness and originality. Now let's come to the poem. We'll read the poem and then see the explanation. Don't bite your nails, Amanda. Don't hurt your shoulders, Amanda. Stop that slouching and sit up straight, Amanda. Now here you can see the few lines are given in the bracket. That is the thinking of Amanda when she is her mother is telling her not to do this, not to do that. Then what she thinks at that time, that things are given in the bracket here. There is a languid emerald sea, where the sole inhabitant is me, a mermaid drifting blissfully. Blissfully means happily. The poet is describing Amanda, a little girl who is always pointed out by her mother for her mistake and how she imagines her life to be. The poet says that the mother is pointing out Amanda for biting nails, which is a bad habit. Next, she asks her to sit straight without bending her shoulders. Amanda, who has habit of bending her shoulders and sitting lazily, is being pointed out because her mother wants her to sit in the right posture. At this point of time, when she is being scolded by her mother, she imagines herself to be in a deep green sea. She says that she wants to be the only resident of this beautiful green sea. She imagines herself like a mermaid who is alone there and leads her life in a very relaxing way. She says that she wants to be carried away by the current of water and feel the relaxing environment there. When her mother is scolding for something, she don't want to listen that. She is thinking I should be somewhere alone so that I will be far away from this scolding, from this nagging. Now see the second stanza. Did you finish your homework, Amanda? Did you tidy your room, Amanda? I thought I told you to clean your shoes, Amanda. I am an orphan, roaming the street. I pattern soft dust with my hushed bare feet. The silence is golden, the freedom is sweet. Now, here in the second stanza, the poetess says that Amanda's mother is inquiring her about whether she has done her homework or not. And she asks her whether she has cleaned her room or not. Moreover, she is also reminded to clean her shoes. So, here we can see that the mother is constantly asking her questions regarding her homework being done or not, or whether she has cleaned up her shoes and room or not. But on the other hand, while Amanda is listening to her mother's instructions, she imagines herself to be an orphan who is roaming in the street. Again, she is imagining as an orphan because she wants to be alone. She wants to go far away from the uh, scolding of her mother. This means that she imagines if she would have been without parents, she would have walked freely in the streets. She would have drawn designs on the dust, soft dust with her uncovered feet very quietly. So we can see that she thinks opposite of her mother. Her mother wants her to keep everything neat and clean. But Amanda wants to play in dust with her bare feet. Moreover, she is so fed up of this constant instructions from her mother that she says silence is golden, which means that silence is very crucial and precious. She further says that freedom is sweet. This means she never feels free when she is with her mother. Now come to the third stanza. Don't eat that chocolate, Amanda. Remember your acne, Amanda? Will you please look at me when I am speaking to you, Amanda? Then now what she thinks? I am Rapunzel. I have not a care. Life in a tower is tranquil and rare. I will certainly never let down my bright hair. Now, you might be knowing the story of Rapunzel. I think girls will be familiar. Rapunzel was a princess, which the a witch caught that princess, and she captivated her in a tower. Where see in the picture, she was having a long hair. You can see that long hair coming out of the window. When the witch has to come inside the tower, she used to say Rapunzel to put her hair down, and with the help of that hair, she used to climb and go to Rapunzel. So so we'll see what this paragraph, I'll explain you this stanza. Next, Amanda's mother is disallowing her to eat chocolates. She reminds her of pimples that Amanda faces due to eating chocolates. At last, she scolds her for not paying attention to what her mother says. At this moment, Amanda imagines herself to be Rapunzel. Rapunzel was a character of a fairy tale that was captured in tower by a witch. The witch used to climb the tower with the help of long hair of Rapunzel that were let down by her through the window. So now Amanda wants to be Rapunzel because she feels that life in the tower will be peaceful and unusual. She thinks she will be free and live in a peaceful environment in the tower. She also confirms to herself that she will never let her hair down to anyone so that nobody could come to her in the tower. Now come to the Final stanza. Stop that sulking at once, Amanda. You are so moody, Amanda. Anyone would think that I nagged at you. Amanda. Now, here, Amanda's mother warns her for behaving in a very odd manner. She asks her to stop being in the bad mood. Moreover, she blames her of having an unstable mood. She also scolds her that you are always sulking like this, that everybody will think that I am harassing you, I am nagging you. So please behave yourself. Your mood should be good. Here, Amanda is always pointed out by her mother on every small thing, but she cannot react to this. If she reacts to this, then also her mother gets angry. Her mother is telling, so you can see how she is sitting in the bad mood. So that she don't want. Her mother wants that when she is scolding, she should listen to her and don't spoil the mood and just sit like that sulking there. That she don't like. Now the message which you get from this poem is that the children that need to be allowed more liberal. Excessive nagging makes them defiant and they turn a deaf ear to the instruction of the elders. They develop a kind of dislike for real life and start escaping in the world of dreams and imagination. In fact, the poem directly emphasizes the need of a healthy bond between parents and children. Parents should understand the psychology of children, who in turn should be respectful and responsible to their parents. Now, here, it's not only the fault of the parents, it is also of the child. If your parents instruct you something, say this is good for you, this is bad for you, then you should obey them. They are more experienced and mature person. Whatever they are telling for your good. And at times, the parents are rude. The behavior sometimes become rude because they want you to be in a good position. And if you don't listen to them, if you don't follow the instruction, naturally they will get angry. If once the instruction is given and you follow that instruction, then the nagging will not come only. But the nagging comes when you don't follow the instructions given by them. Even with the teachers, it is told to submit the assignment, submit the homework at time. You don't do it. So again and again the teacher has to remind. Nowadays we are sitting far, we are online, we are connecting to each other. But I see for many students, I have to keep on typing the message and telling him submit your assignment, submit your assignment. If you will submit in the time, then why I will again and again tell you? You are not doing your work. That's why the parents and the elders again and again they have to instruct you. But sometimes it is there, it is not the fault of a child. Some parents unnecessary, they nag. That should be not there if it happens. So the understanding should be from both the sides. Now the poetic devices you will find, you will underline, I'll ask you in the interactive session. The poetic devices used are anaphora, alliteration, repetition, metaphor. And the rhyming scheme in the first stanza is A, A, B, A, and in the parenthesis, in the bracket, it is CCC. Second stanza, AAFA GGG. Third stanza, AADAEEE. Fourth stanza, AAHA. So this was the beautiful poem about the relationship between a parent and a child. How you I think you must have been connected with this very closely. So rest we'll discuss when we will meet in the interactive session. Go through the explanation carefully, read the poem, and then we'll meet in the interactive session and discuss the question answer and your doubts. Thank you, children.